from Strength Performance Network, coming to you live again from the 2016 CSCCa conference here in Fort Worth, Texas. I have a great opportunity to talk to Jana Heitmeyer, Director of Sports Nutrition at Baylor University. We don't get an opportunity to talk to many dietitians or nutritionists typically, so this is a great opportunity and something that I've been looking forward to. So Jana, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I was learning a little bit about you prior to us talking, and I know you have a background in studied zoology and pre-med in school. I'd love for you to be able to tell our members a little bit about your background and when it comes to a career in nutrition. Was it something that you always wanted to do, and if not, kind of how you ended up here?
It was not. I started out actually thinking I was going to be a doctor, which is where the zoology pre-med came from. And then once I finished, I decided, no, I do not want to do that. What am I going to do next? And so with the athletic background that I had, strength and conditioning was kind of a natural next step for me. So I started into that portion of it thinking, when I go to grad school, I'll get my nutrition degree and do something from that, whether it's with strength and conditioning or otherwise. And went to grad school, was a strength and conditioning coach for a while, and then as I finished that up, realized that to actually do nutrition the right way, you have to go back to school and get another degree in dietetics. So 10 years later.
And I know you're certified with various number of certifications. You talked about what it takes to become certified as a nutritionist.
Absolutely. So there's it's kind of like nursing if you think about it that way. You go into an undergrad in nutrition first, then you have to complete an internship for about 9 months, and then you take a board exam. And then after that, then you can become a dietitian. But then to be specifically sports certified, it's like a 2-year, 1,500-hour process where you have to apply for it and then log all these hours underneath another sports dietitian or as a practicing dietitian, and then take another exam, another board exam to be certified in sports dietetics. So it's kind of a long process, a little bit tedious, but worth it in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like it. So you're new to Baylor.
New to Baylor.
And you've been doing at Missouri for 11 years.
Yes.
So you helped establish a program there.
Yes.
So what are you doing at Baylor foundationally to establish new nutrition, taking with you to Missouri and start nutrition?
That simple is better. And I think it's very intimidating to people and thinking that they have to have a lot of money to be able to start any type of nutrition with their athletes, when really all it takes is one small step at a time. You have enough money to get water bottles for the entire student-athlete population, start there. Then reach out to maybe a grocery store or a dairy farm. Can they donate some chocolate milk? Work with your booster club at the schools or the colleges. Some of the sponsorship programs there will get you some stuff for free, and you keep building on that. We have a donor that has an apple farm. Can they donate apples to you? So just looking for little ways that isn't going to cost you money, but literally taking it. My very first thing is I want to get water bottles for all the athletes. The very next thing I'm going to do is, can I get chocolate milk for all the athletes? The very next thing I'm going to do is and just plot it out in like a step-by-step process so it's not overwhelming of I have to have everything that everybody's already has.
So at Baylor, you get a lot of great athletes. Are you finding when they come to you that they have a decent understanding of nutrition, or is it off?
They do not have a decent understanding of nutrition, so it kind of depends on the sport. There's some sports that kind of call for it, like you get the wrestling and the gymnastics and sports like that where they're a little bit more conscious just because they're sport. But for the most part, especially being in Texas, it's a little bit of a struggle school-wise to find out what they're learning in school and how that applies to them now as an athlete. You're getting older. Things are different. College athletics is a little bit more demanding, so how do you tweak your diet and your supplements and things like that so that you can actually perform and recover the best way you can?
So nutrition's very specific to each person, I'm
It is.
assuming. So how do you typically work with an athlete when they first come into your program, get them on a program that is kind of designed specifically for them, and then make sure that they're adhering to success?
We use a little bit of technology to help us do that. Everyone gets an initial assessment when they come in through our nutrition department. So we'll meet with all the freshmen. We also do what's called a DEXA scan. It gives us their body composition, and it tells us exactly how much muscle and fat they have. Gives us a great baseline number, and then from there we can kind of plot and see. And I usually typically ask them, do you want more help or do you feel like you're good? They're always going to tell me they're good for the first 6 months or so. So we just give them basic nutrition information, start the education process. After that, you can kind of see after maybe a preseason or an off-season or just a first semester there, what they really need and how their body is trending, and then you can make adjustments based on that. This is the kind of meal plan that I want you to be having. This is how we need to grocery shopping. This is what you should be cooking. These are the supplements you should be choosing. We base it all on how their body is responding to training, college, being a freshman, etc.
So you're not with them all the time, obviously, but when it comes to teaching them to eat or not, actually things that take them to the grocery store, show them they should be eating.
We do. So a lot of what we talk about is you're only with us for 2 hours, so what are you doing with the other 22 hours in your day? Since we can't be in your pocket as much as I wish that I could and smack things out of your hands or put them in your mouth, we can't do that. So a lot of what we do is take them to the grocery store, have a cooking class and show them how to make very basic, simple things, provide them with a cookbook that we've created that, kind of spells out some very basic 5-step ingredients, things that we can give them, very basic information. Everything needs to be as simple as possible. They don't have time. They don't want to worry about it. That's our job. They don't want to think about it. That's our job. So as basic as possible, give it to them, and they're done.
Do you get involved in sleep patterns as well as a part of the whole nutrition?
We actually have an applied department that has a lot more to do with that, but we ask them every day, like, how many hours of sleep, rate your sleep. So we get that information. We usually, if they answer that in a certain way over a certain amount of time, what we'll do is reach out to them and kind of see, is there something we can do to help you? Is there ways that we can help you maybe come up with a better plan of what's going to work for you based on your schedule overall?
And how about technology? I mean, what do you do to actually track each in terms of appearance and analysis that they're
Happening.
realizing as a
Yeah.
result of the program?
And again, I mean, it's the good part is we have a great applied performance department, so they love the numbers, data, information stuff, and I just get the information and then I can just work with it. So they track, like, we take body weights, obviously, but they're tracking body weights and telling me, like, red flag, this guy's consistently going down. Sleep-wise, this guy isn't, getting any hours of sleep. He's been getting 3 for the past 3 nights. Like, we need to talk to him. So we work together, which makes it really easy for me to be able to kind of help them. So we use a lot with the catapult system, obviously. And then we do a lot with the GPS, like mileage, volume-wise. Do I need to focus on that guy for recovery? Do I need to make sure that he's recovering faster or better? If he's not recovering faster and better, what do I do at that point with him to kind of help?
How are some of the new regulations that NCAA has come up with in terms of opening up, allowing for athletes? That's helped you in your effort?
Yes, it just helps us because we're trying to get them to focus on food. Everyone wants the magic pill. We're always going to push supplements second, knowing how good food is for you. But it's just the fact that we can actually feed them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, oatmeal, fruit all the time helps us immensely get our message across to, yes, you're here for 4 years, 5 years. Then what? Because now you're going to be getting older. You're either going to go professional or you're not. But you still need to know how to eat and cook and live. Like, everyone's going to eat forever. It doesn't end just because you leave here. So we have to give them a good base, and that really helps us just to say, here's an example of a really good plate, and you can take this with you because we're allowed to provide that food for you now.
That has to be really rewarding for you because you actually teach them life skills beyond just what you need to do while you're on the court or field while you're in college.
You are, because if you think about it, we have the healthiest people in the entire world right now. Like, they're at their best they're ever going to be. And then after that, it's like, what can we do now to help you? Like, now recovery-wise how your body handles certain types of stress as you get older and you can't do all the amount of work, and now you're working and you have the stress of kids and job. How can you help your body recover better from a food standpoint? It's just going to make a big benefit for you.
So you mentioned supplements. What's your philosophy is fit? I mean, I guess talk a lot about field supplements, but also general tends to take. That's
Yes.
something that's necessary for the athlete as well.
Everyone's probably going to have a different opinion about that. I would say supplements in general are exactly what the term is. It is a supplement to your food. It should never replace a meal or a snack for you. We usually do it because of time constraints overall for them. In terms of vitamins, I always tell them, and I always ask them, if you eat perfectly, raise your hand. Of course, they're never going to, because nobody likes fruits and vegetables. But if you can eat perfectly, then no, you don't need a multivitamin. You don't need a vitamin at all. But if you can't eat perfectly, then at least take a multivitamin as an insurance policy that you're getting everything you need, at least on a most basic level.
So when strength coaches are trying to look at or evaluate the success of their programs, a lot of it's on wins and losses on the field. Is that the same way that you evaluate your program, or when you look back now that you're at Baylor and establishing a program 5 years from now, how are you going to determine if it's successful in your eyes?
Really, for us, it's just a matter of, we base it on a couple different things. You can base it on when the kids leave, how much they come back and ask you for information and how much they're applying it later on in life. A lot of them go on to coaching or professional, et cetera, and come back and ask for more information, and then you build a relationship that way. We probably base most of it on consumption. So we order a certain amount of food. It's obviously a certain amount of fruits and vegetables. We order a certain amount of this and that. How fast is it going? Who's taking it? I mean, we're kind of monitoring a little bit, like, what are you putting in your mouth and what are you ignoring on our counters? So I would say that way. But most of all, it's just, if you keep coming back and you keep coming into our office, we're doing something right. We're telling you something you want to hear. Even the smallest 1% change is going to make a big difference in your performance overall. It's just that little tiny bit.
What's the biggest challenge that you face with athletes that are just you're trying to get onto your program now, and to help them be consistent as well?
I mean, again, it's just the fact that they're they're in the best shape of their life. Like, they were really good up until this point. Why do I need to change anything to get better? Like, they don't know what it feels like to feel really good. So it's challenging for them to want to buy into something that they've never seen the benefits from overall. So just finding what your trigger is to make you actually try something new is probably the most challenging thing overall.
Thanks a lot for your time today. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure meeting you. And again, this is David Harris with Strength Performance Network. I'm here with Jana Heitmeyer, the Director of Sports Nutrition at Baylor. So thanks, Jana.